In this demonstration, we're going to see how to work with the input search component. So here's our page right now running, and you can see here a list of employees. And as we type, we filter the list. We filter both on the first name and the last name of the employees over here. So this is the behavior at runtime. Now let's look at how this page is actually constructed. You can see we have an input search component over here, and it's accessing a REST service that is exposed from ADF business components. One specific note here is we're actually fetching more than the default 25 records by adding the limit parameter. What we're going to do is we're going to add another input search component into our page, and we're going to configure this one to work with another REST service. So to do that, we're adding the component, and inside the component, we need to add this search section. So I'm just going to copy and paste this one, change the ID so we'll have a unique ID. And then instead of using this URL to an ADF BC REST service, I'm going to pick up a random REST service from the web. For example, this one, hosted by some university, returns information about countries. So all we need is the URL to that REST service. We need to know the name of the fields we want to show, and then we just paste the URL over here. Okay, so this tells us the source of the data. And the next thing we're going to do is on the input search component, we're going to define which fields we want to show over there. So there's a couple of properties called attributes that we can use here. And we'll start with the filter attributes. So those are the attributes that we're going to show in our list of values and that we would do a search on. So in this case, we're using the name, the capital, and the region of each country. Then there's the display attribute. That's the attribute that will actually display, and the value attribute, which would be the value that we are returning. Okay. So, by the way, we can have the value attribute be something that we're not actually showing. For example, we can use the alpha2 code for the code of the country. So let's see our page in action now with this additional input search field. We'll save and compile, and we are looking at our page, and you can see that we're filtering the list of records either based on the name or the region or the capital. In every case, it would just work this way. Okay, so this is one way to display the data. We can also show it in a bit more organized way by using a different layout. So this was the list layout. We also can do things with a table layout. So to do that, we're going to go over here and look up one property for the AF input search, which is called the content mode. And you can see by default it's set to list. We're going to switch it to be table, save our page, and let's look at the behavior now. And you can see now it's a little bit more organized. It's in a table. You can even further customize the table if you need to. Okay. But functionality, it's still the same, does the searches all on the client. We can even have more complex layout for the way that we show the data. In fact, you can use a kind of a random HTML code and use it to display the data. So I'm going to copy this code. You can find it on my blog if you want to reference it. And then I'm going to add a facet to our input search component. Okay. The facet is called content stamp. Okay, let's reformat this so it would be a little bit more aligned. And inside it, we're using a new AF sanitized tag to basically specify a full HTML set of layout with the names of the fields inside squarely brackets. So you can see, for example, we're using the flag field right now. So again, if we reload the page, you can see a new layout for our list. Same functionality, this time looks a little bit different with the flags of each country showing up, still allowing you to filter on each one of the fields in there. So that's the basic demo of the input search component.